Welcome to episode 34. I'm here with my sister Donna today, and she's going to be showing us some of her embroidery, what would you call them, Donna?
Zipper bags.
Zipper bags. And this is her workspace, and so she's got quilting behind us and all kinds of goodies, and she's going to share her process on several of the little zipper bags that she's now making. And so Donna, we're just going to turn the camera around and start working on the next step of this little episode here. So stay with us, and I hope you enjoy it. Okay, before we actually get into her current project, I'm going to have her show you what she's been making by Annie, her little clamshells and carry-all. And so Donna, just go ahead and explain what it is you've got here and a little bit about them.
Okay, this is the catch-all caddy that she has, and she has put handles on it, which I have made some with handles, but I made this one without handles because I'm not going to carry it anyplace. It's just going to stay by my chair so I can keep things in it off of the counter and keep them contained. And then I made these catch-all clamshells, and you'll see that they can nest, and I think there's another larger one that I haven't made, but those have been a lot of fun to make.
So what kind of things are you using those for specifically?
I'm not right now. I'm going to give them as gifts.
Okay, excellent.
I'm going to give this to my great-granddaughter. I think she would like that little tiny one like that.
Okay.
And so, you know, right now they're just gifts.
So open one up so we can kind of see the detail in that they're all finished. Looks like they've got some pockets inside a little bit.
Well, these are to keep the stuff from falling out because the zipper goes clear around to the bottom.
Those are really nice.
Yeah.
So they open up nice and wide.
Yeah, they do.
Okay.
And
so you actually quilted the fabric?
Yes, first.
They're really nice.
And even this little one opens clear up, so it's easy to put things in because the size of it, if it didn't open clear up, you couldn't use it probably.
Right. So then tell us about this other big one with the spools of thread.
I cannot remember the name of this one, but it's her, it's related to her series on packing for your suitcase.
Oh, okay.
And so there's several sizes of these, and they will all fit together in a suitcase. But I like to use it for sewing thread. Well, and for my embroidery thread. And I changed, and I put vinyl in the top instead of net like she did.
Great idea.
Because I wanted it to contain the thread, but to be able to see it.
See what's in there.
And it'll hold about 35 spools of thread.
Wow.
You know, and
so, they all will stack on top of each other
Yes.
nicely.
So
how many of those have you made?
I've made 5 of these, and it's really helped my space for thread.
Sure.
Because what I had probably half of this number of spools in was a plastic container about twice this size.
Okay, so that's very condensed for a smaller space. Perfect. Yeah. Well, let's go back over and look now at your new project. Okay, here's Donna at her workstation with her fabulous embroidery machine that looks very complicated to me, but she certainly has figured out how to use it, and for various and sundry kinds of projects. So Donna, tell us about this project and a little bit about the bags that you're making. That's just noise from the sewing machine. And who is the designer here?
Okay, these are Anita Goodesigns, and there are, I don't know how many bags in here, but there's 11 options with each one, and then additional options by putting some additional decoration on them. And I got this at a workshop that I was at. I bought this there, and so I just was fascinated with these, and I thought, oh, I'm gonna make one of each.
Wow. So show us the different styles here. It looks like you've got a few already made.
Well, and this shows the different shapes.
Okay.
And then you can add designs to them if you want to, and have that many more. And there's 11 different quilting designs that you can put on each one.
Okay.
And so these are all different.
And you've quilted all of these?
I've quilted all of these. And they're all, each one of these is a different quilting design.
Okay. Let me look at this one. This one shows up really well, I think, in the camera. The quilting. Yeah, yeah. How fun. And they're nice and sturdy. They're not going to be flimsy, so you could actually use them in your purse.
Right.
All kinds of things. Yeah.
And they called for batting. And I don't like these corners that don't turn out. And I just didn't like the feel of them as much. And so I went to putting in 2 layers of stabilizer instead of the batting. They still hold their shape, but it's able to get the nice corners on them.
Okay.
They turn easier. This isn't so bulky in the seam, and yet they're still nice and sturdy. And give you.
Open up one zipper. I want to see how nice that opens up. Okay.
And then they're all lined.
Wow, those are really nice.
And I put a light colored lining in mine so you can see what's inside.
Great idea.
And so I've done 2 shapes so far. I've done all of these small rectangles, and I've done 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 of the trapezoid type
So
ones.
What's your goal? How many are you seeing yourself make?
Well, however many designs there are, there's 11 of each. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So there's 100 easily. 100.
Well, why not make 100? I mean, really.
Well, and I think I'm going to use them for gifts.
Okay.
For here.
Okay.
So
nice.
Anyway, that's my intention.
So show us a little bit about putting one together. Talk a little bit about, have you learned some shortcuts or some tips on how, because after making the amount that you've already got made, I'm sure you've got some ideas, and I would imagine the more you make, the easier it is to put them together.
Well, it is. And I've learned in the designs, it has you heavily tape down each layer. Like this one would have a zipper on here, and then your fabric as you go. And I have found that you don't necessarily have to tape all of that stuff down. It'll stay in place. The first step is to make the back. And so you make the back, and you unhoop it, and you rehoop your stabilizer. And there's a lot of waste. If you'll notice, this much stabilizer on each side. And so, being the person that I am, I just take the end piece, tape it on, and then that gives me more. And the tape that you use, that the most successful, is micro pore surgical tape.
Surgical tape. Oh, I've heard that before. What a great idea.
And it works very well. It does not gum up your needle if you sew through it.
So let me back up here for just a second. This here is a piece that you can reuse?
No, because this goes in the bag. I can reuse the ends of it.
Gotcha. Okay. So you're just taping that together. Okay.
Because see, this has, you cut this out.
Right.
And so this stays in the bag.
Okay.
And then there's another layer of stabilizer between the two.
Okay.
So
yeah, because you would end up with quite a bit of waste.
Yes,
otherwise.
You would.
Okay.
And it runs into a lot of expense if you go through a piece this long each time.
Right.
So the next piece is where you tape your zipper on. and you'll have to tape it on. And I experimented with some different kinds of basting tape, and you have to be careful what kind of basting tape you use. I don't like to just tape here because it's very difficult to get this zipper centered exactly.
Oh, I suspect.
And so you can see here on this one, it's wider at the top than it is at the bottom of the zipper.
Oh.
And it's really hard to get that zipper centered right on this. This has a tendency to make the zipper slide off of the center.
Sure.
So you want to really stabilize it down each side. And taping it just at the top and the bottom
isn't enough. Yeah, I could see where that
and you have to be careful. I take the metal piece off of the end of the zipper, the zipper stop.
Okay.
Because I don't like wasting a lot of zipper. And
so now you say that again. You show exactly what you cut, remove.
The
little stopper.
Little stopper.
Okay.
Like this.
Oh, okay.
And I have
How do you take that off?
Oh, I have a stylus here, and I'm not going to take this one off, but you just take it and bend those up, and this will pop off.
Okay, so that's pretty easy to do. But I could understand why having that.
Well, yeah, and so then if you used this length of zipper, you would waste part of the zipper.
Right.
But you have to be careful that you get enough clearance up here for this foot to come here without running into
the pull. Okay.
And so then I can put the bottom of this zipper without the metal stop right there.
Okay.
And then I tape this down and then you do your next step, which is to stitch the zipper down. And then you've got different steps that you do.
And the book gives you said really
step by
clear.
Step. Yes.
Okay.
It gives you, get to those.
So it's really a picture for each step.
It is a picture for each step.
Nice.
Like here it shows you laying the zipper down. It shows you taping the zipper. And then you lay your next layers on there.
And this is where you said you don't put your tape that way.
Right.
You put yours along here.
Right. And
so could a beginner sewer follow this, or would you think more of an intermediate?
More intermediate.
Okay.
Although a beginner could with some help from somebody, and once they've gone through this, you have to pay very close attention to what it says in the directions.
So maybe taking a class on it would really be beneficial.
And a lot of workshops will cover this. And with this you get a CD with all of the designs and all of the extra. You've got monograms, you've got a whole 50 different embroidery designs that you could put on these.
Fun.
Then you can also do one where you create fabric.
Sure. So lots of little pieces can be used up in these bags.
They've got directions for that in here. I was gonna.
What a great idea! So a great way to use up scraps.
Oh yeah. See,
nice.
And they show you the exact order that you lay these pieces down. It stitches it.
Now, you've made a lot of bags in times past in your sewing history. How does this compare to some others that you've done?
Well, if you were making this bag on your own without the embroidery machine, I think it's faster, actually.
Really?
I really do.
Yeah.
Because you're taking your hoop in and out. You're taking your fabric and laying it on here, where you would just sew through it and do the next step and so.
So the advantage, though, of this, what is it you're gaining by doing it with the hoop and all of that?
Well, you've got some access to different designs that you can put in it.
Yeah.
And it's just somebody that uses an embroidery machine, it's just fun to do that.
Sure, sure.
And
great, and a
so-
great way to use up
yeah,
scraps.
It is. It is an excellent way to use up scraps, because this takes a piece this size, which is about 10 by 7, and then this is the back, and there's a piece of interfacing and this, and then there'll ultimately be a lining
okay.
for the back that'll go on.
So there's several steps to it, really.
Yes, there is. And the next step here is sewing. Once you sew the zipper, then you've got to do the top of the bag.
Okay.
And so you'll lay this on here. You have to take it off of the hoop. You've got to put your lining for this on tape to the back.
Lots and lots of steps to it.
So then you'll sew this up. You'll do the quilting on it. Then you've got to do the same thing to the bottom half.
To the bottom part, okay.
And so you'll end up taking this, putting it up here, going over.
And ultimately, when you finish, it's inside out.
Yes,
and then you've got to turn them.
And you've got to turn it. So the next step after you've done this and you've laid all your pieces back on the back side where they belong, then you will cut this out and lay it on top of here and sew around it. You still have this lining piece
to put in. Okay.
And you go, the other thing that I have forgotten several times. Once you're ready to sew the back on, you've got to bring your zipper pull down in here, because it'll stitch across here and you can't get your zipper down.
Okay. So once this is programmed into the computer, then it knows where to go with the sewing.
It does.
Okay.
It does.
That's amazing.
And it will stop between each step and let you put your fabric
piece in,
and then it'll do the next step.
So how many minutes or hours is it per bag, do you think? If you just sat down and had it all cut out?
If it's all cut out, let me go here and I'll tell you. This tells you actual stitching time. That's not taping the pieces on or anything. Just the stitching time is 13 minutes.
So that's probably the shorter piece of time, because you've had to cut everything out.
Yes.
Then you're lining everything up while you're sitting there. So you think half hour, 45 minutes?
Half an hour at least.
Yeah.
To 45 minutes.
Yeah. But really, the end product, when you think about it, that actually isn't bad.
No, it's not.
Yeah.
It's not. And it's kind of fun.
Oh, of course.
And it will let you add at some point, if you wanted to stitch a design on this, you could add a design.
Which that for sure is going to take more time.
So I could pick one of these to put on it.
Wow. How fun. Well, and when you learned this machine, you actually went and took some classes, but this wasn't your first embroidery.
No, and I really didn't take some classes on this particular machine.
Because you had prior to on other machines.
And this does so much more than what I already do. I mean, you can scan something in here, which I did at some point. Where is it that I did?
Well, this is when you... Oh, no, that was the...
One of the classes that I did, we wrote our name in a felt pen on a piece of paper.
And they had you scan
it. And then there's a scanning table that you hook up, and it scans it. And then you go to a place where it digitizes that. And then we stitched it out.
Just amazing. Amazing.
Yeah.
Well, back to your bags. So... you've enjoyed it, obviously, and you've made a few little changes as far as the with the tape,
stabilizer and the tape. Yeah.
But basically, the pattern book did what it was supposed to do.
Yes, it did. It did. Exactly.
I don't do any of this kind of work, so this is always amazing to me to see it. I just pretty much stay with my knitting. But, you know, when you have somebody that does what you do, Donna, I don't have to do this because you do it. So that's kind of a good thing.
I have laid out my next bags that I'm going to do, all like with the zipper and all the pieces. And then I've got, this is the next set that
What a great idea. So you're doing it kind of streamlined.
The next set,
Okay. Oh, that's fun pattern.
So I've got that all done. And then I pick an embroidery thread that will, usually I pick an embroidery thread that matches the zipper.
Okay.
That's usually how I do it. But,
so this is where her thread is up here.
Yeah. These all have thread that matches the zipper.
Oh, that's great. And they look really nice. They're nice and finished. You've added different ribbon on it for the pulls, so that's fun. And talk about a nice gift. People always seem to like. I have a few in my purse actually that you've made, and I use them all the time. So very fun, and this keeps you busy and off of the street. That's what I always say about my knitting.
And it uses up my scrap fabric.
Sure.
I have not cut into any big pieces of fabric for this.
I'm going to turn the camera around, and you can, if you all are quilters, you've probably done something similar, I would assume, to fold all your fabrics. And she's got it right here, a great workspace, so she can see exactly.
And this is the size of the folds that I use for the bags.
Okay.
Because these pieces are too small to put on this side of a side. And so this is what I've pulled my bag fabric from.
Okay. Nice.
Yeah.
Well, very fun. Hopefully this has been inspiring to some of you quilters that have smaller pieces. Maybe you've not made bags in the past, but so far everybody you've ever given to them have been, you know, grateful and glad to have them.
It's been fun.
Thanks, Donna. And